So let's talk about oil temperature. Hi guys, welcome back. If you are new here, my name's SJ and this is Hubby.
Hi.
And today we want to talk about oil temperature on your motorcycle. Now when you pull the bike out of the garage or wherever you pull it out of, the first thing you do, or that you should do, is start the bike and let it warm up a little bit before taking off.
Yeah, there's a fine line between over-warming the bike before you start to ride and not warming it enough. It confuses things, but what happens, we all see on a cold day, steam coming out of the tailpipe of your car. And that's because an internal combustion engine, when it's burning fossil fuel, two things come out off of that. Well, two gases, or main gases, I should say, come off of that. One is carbon dioxide. You're not too worried about that. There's other gases that are bad for you, but I'm not going to talk about them. But the other one is water vapor. When you burn fossil fuel, you get water. And that steam coming out of a tailpipe on a cold day is condensing in the air. And that's why you could see it. Well, anytime you start an internal combustion engine, the cylinder walls in that engine are relatively cold compared to the flame that's going on. Now, it's condensing inside the engine, in the cylinders. So the longer you warm an engine up, the more you're going to be steam cleaning the oil off the cylinders, out of the rings, so on. So that's why I say there's a line between warming the engine too long and not warming it enough. And you want to try and hit that midpoint.
So now, after you have warmed up your bike and the coolant is up to temperature, most people get on their bike, they leave, and they get on the main roads and rip. That's a no-no. You do not do that, because even though the coolant temperature is up where it needs to be, your oil temperature is not. And if your oil temperature is not up, it can do some real damage to your engine. So what do you want to do? You want to, if you live in a development, take the back way out of your development, a longer way, keeping the speed down, the RPMs low, short shift the bike, and let that oil heat up inside the engine before you hit the main road and rip it. Now, if you live on a main road, if you can get to like a side street real quick, then do it, because you don't want to rip it. And now most of you are going, but SJ, my bike doesn't have an oil temperature gauge. How do I know when my oil is up to temp? Well, that's when, before you hit the main road, you pull over, you get off the bike, make sure you take your glove off, and you feel the cases on either side of the bike. And if they feel warm to you or hot, then you know your oil is up to temp.
Yeah, and look, you don't have to do that all the time, but that's the process of getting a feel for, your outside air temperature, how long it's going to take. Of course, on a 90-degree day, it's not going to take all that long to heat your oil up. But maybe on a 30-degree day, it's going to take a while longer. You just do that to get a feel for what you're doing. And here's the telltale. Take a 20-mile ride, come home, 30-mile ride, and feel your side cases. That's the clutch case and the stator case, not your cylinder walls or the head, the side covers on the engine. And that's the temperature you basically want to have your oil at, and that's the telltale temperature of your oil, right in there. You could put your fingers on the oil pan if it's dry sump, but generally the side cases are a pretty good way of telling. And if you don't want to put your hands on them, that's understandable. I think you get them for $14 or $7 at Harbor Freight. These infrared temperature gauges. It's got a little laser on it. You just pull over, whip this thing out, and take a temperature of the side cases of your bike. It's easy, right?
Now you're saying to yourselves, SJ and hubby, why is it important that I let the oil come up to temperature?
So, manufacturers build your bike engine, okay, and they have a whole scenario of what they want and and oil's a very important part. But they make a lot of assumptions, and one of the assumptions is in designing an engine and bearings and lubrication and yada yada yada. And I don't want to get into a month-long discussion about oil because you can get lost. We want to learn about motor oil and all the stuff that goes in it. If you're not confused now, spend about 6 months on the internet. The oil guy and all, and you read all the comments and this, that, and the other thing, and you'll get thoroughly confused. But your engine's designed to run best when the oil is up to operating temperature. What happens when you ride, and this goes for your car too. This isn't just a motorcycle. This is any internal combustion engine that uses oil. A two-stroke engine, not so much because you mix the oil with the gasoline, but we're talking about four-stroke engines. And if just say you start out cold motor, and it's not good to romp on a cold motor. Pistons expand a little faster than what's surrounding them, and you can do a lot of damage. But just say we're talking about oil right now. Romp on that early, and there's a bypass valve on your oil filter, and when that oil is cold, it doesn't flow through your filter the way it's designed to. So there's a bypass valve that opens up in your oil filter and allows that to be bypassed. Now you're throwing all the junk that your filter grabbed up over the period of time, and you're throwing that back into the oil. Good job. That's not the only thing. Most of the bikes today take multi-vis oil. And what I mean by that is 10W30, 10W40, 5W50, whatever, 5W40. That's a multi-vis. The days of straight 30 weight or straight 40 weight or straight 50 weight are more or less behind us. Some people still run it. But so a quick lesson on that. The first number is your cold. Let's just go 1040. That first number is 10 weight at cold temperatures. That means that oil's very, very thin at cold temperatures. And due to the additive package, as the oil warms up, it increases in viscosity. So at high temperatures, at where the oil's designed to run, it's say on a 1040, it's 40 weight at running temperature. And that's where the engineers design the oil around. And that's not just, motorcycles, that's cars. And you want to get that oil up to that temperature before you start romping on a bike. Again, you can do serious damage. And, Jay Leno touched on that on one of his videos, and I forget when it was, a couple of years ago. And in cars, you want to warm the transmission, and you do that by driving it. And you also want to warm the differential, like guys with shaft drive bikes. Same thing, guys. Ride that bike a ways. Get that oil temperature up before you start slapping the crap out of it, if you're so inclined. Because everything's designed over that oil being at operating temperature. Yeah, we got coolant temperature gauges on most of the modern bikes, and you can figure out, quickly what your coolant temperature is. But it's a little different with oil, because most bikes that I know of don't have a oil temperature indication, and that's just as important, in fact more important than your coolant temperature. So just, I don't want to lecture anybody, but I don't think enough people touched on this. I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, because I'm not, but it's just some things that I picked up over the years that have always panned out for me. And you don't want unnecessary repairs. You want your bike to run good. You want your car to run good. You even want your lawnmower to run good for its life expectancy. You don't want to bring on premature wear. I'm looking at a road pizza right there. Ew, somebody wasn't feeling good last night. Anyway, thing is, everybody says, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of my bike. I'm gonna change your oil. I'm gonna change your oil. I'm gonna change your oil. I don't want any dirt in my oil. I want to change my oil." Good. But along with clean oil, you need oil up to temperature to do a good job. You can change your oil till the cows come home, but if you're not letting that oil come up to temperature before you romp on it, you might as well not even change the damn oil.
Alright guys, well I hope you found this video informative. Again, hubby and I are not experts. We're not know-it-alls. We just tried to help give tips that we have learned throughout our lives. Things that we have found out, and we like passing them and sharing them with you guys. So until next time, guys, remember, ride safe
and stay healthy.
See ya.
Bye.